Oh boy, it is the weekend. So that means another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. This week, our guest is the one and only Griff Furst coming on the show. He is an actor, he is a producer, he is a writer. Man, this guy does a little bit of everything.
Yes, and he's been in the industry since he was a wee lad, growing up on set practically his whole life. He's going to tell us about the benefits and the disadvantages of that, the differences in producing indies and big studio films, all kinds of good stuff for all you up-and-comers out there. You don't want to miss this one.
Super excited, mate. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of ITCAF Podcast. Oh my goodness, it is absolutely crazy because we're on episode 220.
Ooh,
what
man.
the shit is happening?
I'm telling you, 250 is right around the corner. Can you even believe that? Like, it's so nuts, man.
It's so crazy. It is St. Patty's weekend, so be sure to stay safe this weekend, guys. We just want to throw that out there. I mean, you never know. But you know your host with the most, myself, JLo Fantastic, and the one and only Mouth.
What's up?
Boy, oh boy. But before we tease the rest of the show, you know how it goes. Be sure to leave a comment and a rating on the podcast. Tell us what you think about the show. Leaving a rating and a comment actually helps the podcast get seen by more people, especially those who are trying to break into the entertainment industry, which you guys know this is a one-stop shop for the entertainment industry. Man, oh man, there's so much to talk about this week. We have so much news from the Oscars. Oh my goodness. They actually went up in viewership, so that's super exciting.
Yes.
There is a long-time Grey's Anatomy alumni leaving the show, which is super duper sad. And so much other things happening in Hollywood. Shazam's coming out this weekend. Will it do good? I don't think so.
It's not off to a good start. We're going to tell you.
It's really not, man. It's really not. But before we tease or go into the rest of the show, be sure to head over to our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear, or you can even wake up with us, guys.
That's right.
We have our coffee mugs. We got to be careful, though, because they are full of coffee. Oh, goodness. That's terrifying. Man, you can get all of your cool merchandise on our website.
Hell yeah.
Like I said, www.crazyantmedia.com right now. That's why you got to follow our accounts, Crazy Ant Media and ITCAF Podcast, so you can see when things are going down. 20% off right now in our store. So that's why need to follow us, man. You need to freaking follow us. But now, of course, we're starting with Disney. Everybody knows we love Disney. We're kind of peeved at them right now. I'm sure you guys know why if you follow us religiously, but that's okay. We will continue loving the Mouse House. The 2023 Oscars attracted an average audience of 18.8 total million viewers on Sunday night, pushing the show up 13% from the previous year's figures. According to the final time zone adjusted data, which includes live plus same-day numbers from Nielsen, everybody knows, the ceremony earned a 4.0 rating in adults 18 to 49 key demographic, pushing it to a 3-year high in both total viewers and demo, up 5% from 2020. Now, the telecast outperformed the 2023 Grammys on CBS by 50%.
Wow.
Kicked its ass. Which picked up an audience of 12.5 million total viewers on the February 5th show and last year's Emmys on NBC by about 219%. Crazy. Which brought in an audience of 5.9 million last September. Among adults 18 to 49, the Oscars bested the Grammys by 38% and the Emmys by 264%. Not even close. The 2023 Oscars attracted an average audience of 18.8 total million viewers on Sunday night. I mean, all the good stuff, man. Super freaking exciting. And then we would just want to thank everybody for watching our Oscar watch party, the first and the second time. That's why we're a little peeved right now, because we were copyright violated, apparently, or in violation of a copyright, and got taken down. But overall, we performed really well, and a whole lot of good comments, a whole lot of good interaction back and forth. And to everybody, welcome to the channel. We appreciate you guys for watching then and watching now. Just Thank you.
Yes, I mean, and one way or another, we're going to try to get that video back up because it was really entertaining, and we hope you guys will be able to watch it at some point. And thank you, like Logan said, to everybody who watched. It was amazing. And during the Oscars, of course, Disney unveiled the first full Little Mermaid trailer with a fresh look at the film that stars Halle Berry as Ariel during the telecast. Bailey appeared alongside Melissa McCarthy, who plays, of course, the villainous Ursula, to show off in the trailer. Now, Rob Marshall will direct the live-action remake of the 1989 animated feature film that, of course, received Oscars for original song and score for Ellen Menken. Now, Menken will return to update the score and pen a new song featuring lyrics from Lin-Manuel Miranda. It will also include 4 new original songs to the remake. The Little Mermaid has a release date of May 26th, so right around the corner.
For sure, man. This next one is not a surprise, though, to be honest. I really saw this one coming. The Willow TV series is done after just 1 season at Disney+. The news comes around 2 months after the high fantasy series aired its 8th and final episode, with the show having debuted in November of 2022 and airing until January of 2023. Now, Willow continues the story of the film of the same name, with Warwick Davis returning for the series in the title role, of course, of Willow Orfgood. But yeah, I mean, I think they were just trying to capitalize on the medieval shit, and I just don't think it worked.
Yeah, I think that's what they thought was going to attract the younger audience, but I think the audience that showed up was my age, fans of the original film, and I don't think they did a good enough job promoting it. They should have replayed the film. They should have re-released the film. They should have really done a harder marketing campaign to get the younger people interested in what this was.
Agreed.
You know, maybe it would have worked if better, but who knows? I know you're devastated by this one. I know a lot of people will be devastated by this one, but Gray Sloan Memorial will be losing both of the Ellis Gray's daughters this season. That's right. Meredith's already gone, and now Kelly McCreary, who has played Maggie Pierce, Meredith Gray's half-sister and head of the hospital's cardiothoracic surgery since the end of season 10, is departing Grey's Anatomy after 9 years. Her last episode as a series regular will air April 13th, and like Ellen Pompeo, who is set to return for the season 19 finale after Meredith's big February 23rd send-off, Maggie also will pop up to visit the doctors of Gray Sloan later this season following her April 13th farewell. Now, like was the case with Pompeo, whose Meredith Grey left Seattle in the mid-season premiere, Pierce's Gray's exit has also been apparently carefully planned out. She approached the producers ahead of time about her desire to leave and pursue other opportunities, which led to Maggie's season 19 arc being crafted as the character's final chapter at Gray Sloan, now building towards her upcoming exit. Now, as you guys know that are following along, the final storyline has revolved largely around Maggie and Winston's deepening marital problems. So I'm guessing a divorce is on the forefront, and that's going to be her exit out of there.
Just kind of deuces. Well, Sarah Sang has been cast in the lead role of the ABC drama pilot Judgment. The project was originally ordered to pilot at the broadcaster in December. Now, Shine will also star in the role of Maya Bahari in the show, which is described as a high-stakes legal soap. Now, Sarah is also attached as a producer on the project. Per the official character description, though, we'll meet Maya in 2 distinct periods of her life. One, she is a brilliant, successful appeals court judge being vetted for the U.S. Supreme Court. So as long as her dark and painful secrets don't derail the nomination. Now, in another, she is a young spitfire of an attorney, painfully awkward at times and ingenious when it comes to navigating the many nuances of the law. Now, she's also caught romantically between 2 feuding brothers who are at the root of the very thing that she's trying to hide from her Supreme Court investigators. Sounds very drama geared.
And everything is now doing these timeline bounces. Why? Like, it's not necessary. I know it was popular for a little bit on a lot of shows, but do we need to do it all the time now? It's going to be interesting. I don't know. It sounds good, though. Judy Greer has joined ABC's Drop Off. Now, that's the working title, so we don't know if that's going to stick or not. As a series regular, she'll play Amanda, the hyper-confident, uber-organized mom who seemingly has it all together and runs the inner circle at Julia's kids' school. She's an expert at the art of compliment that's actually an insult. Amanda, who usually arranges babysitting swaps with the moms during school vacations, arranges a swap with Julia, who agrees to watch her kids while Amanda prepares for one of her famous dinner parties, which ends in disaster for Julia. She joins the previously announced star Ellie Kemper, who leads the cast as Julia, a working mom for whom nothing is working, so she goes looking for her village.
Very interesting, man. Very interesting.
Sure.
Well, Demi Lovato is sitting in the director's chair, we should say. The singer-songwriter and actor will make her directorial debut with Child Star. Now, that is a working title. The feature-length documentary that aims to deconstruct the highs and lows of growing up in the spotlight through the lens of some of the world's most famous former child stars, including Lovato herself. The documentary will stream exclusively on Hulu in 2024. Now, the film promises interviews with a number of former child actors, though participants are being kept under wraps for now, but I'm excited to see how this one goes because we talk about all the time, and Disney gets a lot of flack for this. A lot of their child stars end up being kind of like, so I'm excited to see how it goes.
I'm surprised it's on Hulu because Demi Lovato made no secret. She came out harshly against Disney and blamed almost all of her problems on Disney and the environment and the culture that it created. So the idea that a Disney-owned company is going to be where this debuts, that's pretty interesting. But you know what? I think it says a lot about Iger and the leadership to know that this is probably not going to be very friendly towards Disney, but they're going to air it anyway. And I think that's a good thing. You got to get it out there, right? This one should become as no surprise to anybody at all whatsoever. The Dancing with the Stars ballroom is changing once again. Tyra Banks, out of there. She, of course, joined the ABC turned Disney Plus reality show as host back in 2020. Not returning next season. The supermodel first joined the reality competition show as host during season 29, of course, replacing Tom Bergeron and Erin Andrews, who were unexpectedly cut. Now, after hosting for 2 seasons alone, Alfonso Ribeiro joined as co-host for season 31, the first season that moved to Disney Plus. This will be one of many changes in season 32 expected to air in the fall. Len Goodman, who has been a judge since the series' debut in 2005, announced his exit during last season, and longtime pro dancers Mark Ballas and Cheryl Burke not returning for season 32.
They just need to cancel this.
They do. Cheryl Burke said her reason for leaving is that Tom Bergeron's not there and he was the heart of the show, and it's just not the same.
Exactly.
Okay.
Man. Exactly. Well, Fox is developing #1 Supreme Citizen of America, a single camera hybrid comedy from comedian Peter S. Kim. Now, the comedy focuses on a U.S.-obsessed immigrant, Sung Min Kim, as he attempts to ace his upcoming citizenship test by hitting the road and learning what it means to be an American from the multifaceted citizens of our expansive nation. Now, Kim will also write and executive produce the comedy. Jim Margulis will serve as showrunner. Kim is a stand-up comedian, if you don't know, writer and actor who was just named Just for Laughs' new face of comedy in 2021. He's a series regular in Amazon's animated comedy Fairfax and recently filmed a sketch pilot presentation called Soul Hunters for Warner Media. His additional screen credits include Curb Your Enthusiasm, Yes Day, and Spy in Disguise.
Oh.
So that should be interesting. And I bet a lot of Americans even learn about America itself.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting.
Hey, anything that puts a spotlight on the process of doing it correctly, right? Yeah. That's a good thing. All right, jumping over to Warner Brothers Discovery, like we said at the top of the show, Shazam! Fury of Gods comes out this weekend. It actually started on Thursday. You know how it goes nowadays. Well, it's expected to take the box office crown from Scream 6 when it opens fully in theaters over the weekend, but don't expect Billy Batson and the company to break any DC franchise records. Why? Because because the sequel took flight last night with only $3.4 million in previews at the domestic box office, which was well behind the original movie's preview haul in 2019. The first Shazam movie made almost $6 million in the Thursday previews before opening with $53.5 million in April of 2019. It went on to gross $140 million domestically and $366 million globally. Now, Shazam Fury of the Gods is only expected to bring in between 35 and 40 million from 4,000 North American cinemas between Friday and Sunday. I think that's going to now be lower now that we've seen the Thursday preview numbers. I'm just saying. And based on those estimates, it's not looking good, especially since each of the Shazam movies cost $100 million to make. Shazam 2 is the weekend's only new nationwide release this week, so it's got that going for it, but I still think it's in trouble.
Definitely. With 4,000 screens and you're only expected to make that much, that's on fucking Morbius level bad superheroes.
Yeah.
So, that's rough. That's rough. Well, this is a huge surprise, guys. I did not know this was going to happen. I'm just like starstruck, like completely shocked. Get ready. James Gunn is directing Superman Legacy. No fucking way. We didn't expect that at all. The filmmaker, who serves as chairman and CEO of DC Studios and partner Peter Safran, revealed this week that he will helm the previously announced reboot of the Superman franchise. Gunn also wrote the screenplay, and Safran will produce. Superman Legacy also released its first plot synopsis, saying that the film tells a story of Superman's journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as Clark Kent of Smallville, Kansas. He is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way, guided by human kindness in the world that sees kindness as old-fashioned. Casting yet has not been announced, but the film is dated for a global theatrical release July 11th of 2025. And fun fact, that is James Gunn's dad's birthday. So there you go.
Yeah, and from what I understand, it's like a love letter to his dad. It's like paying homage to his dad and his upbringing and all this kind of, and he's had this story in the works for like a long time. So I guess congrats. I mean, I'm excited for it. You know, I hope that it brings back everything we want from Superman, and we'll see. Anne Hathaway, you know her, you love her. She's signed on to star in a mysterious new film that David Robert Mitchell from It Follows will direct for Warner Brothers Pictures, Bad Robot, and Jackson Pictures. Now, while the pick is billed as a thrill ride to be shot in IMAX, which will head into production this fall, other details apparently are scarce at present. We don't know anything. We just know she's going to be in it.
That's it. That's it. I mean, that's all you need to know, man. Well, other exciting things happening at HBO Max. The Penguin series has added Michael Zegan, James Mado, and Scott Cohen to its cast of recurring roles. The three join the cast of including series lead Colin Farrell, who replies his role, obviously, as Oswald the Penguin Cobblepot from The Batman, as well as Kristen Milioti from Sopranos and so many other things. White Lotus, Renée Felez, Michael Kelly, Soren, oh boy, Agadashu, and Dadri O'Connell, and Clancy Brown. HBO Max is not releasing character details for the three new additions, but sources say that Zegan is set to play Alberto Falcone. Alberto is the son of the Gotham City crime boss Carmine Falcone from the Batman film, who was played by John Turturro in the Batman, and the brother of Sofia Falcone, who will be played by Milioti in the Penguin. Now, the comics, Alberto takes credit for being the serial killer known as the Holiday Killer.
Yes.
Also targets Gotham gangsters on a holiday each month. The Penguin will consist of 8 episodes. The series is set to continue the storyline from the film. It is believed to take place in immediate aftermath of the events of the Batman. I think this one is much anticipated, and a lot of people are looking forward to it.
I think so too. I am. I know I am. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm super pumped. So, you know, that little show over on HBO Max that went up against the Oscars, and we just told you the Oscars saw a big jump in viewers, so that must have damaged The Last of Us, right? The Last of Us closed its first season with yet another triumph with an audience of 8.2 million people for episode 9, which was the season finale. The series broke its own viewership record, a significant feat considering that the finale was released opposite the Oscars, of course, like I just said. Now, a combination of Nielsen numbers and first-party data from Warner Brothers Discovery, this number accounts for those who tuned into the Sunday night airing on HBO's cable channel, as well as streams on HBO Max through the night. Now, Warner Brothers Discovery also shared that the first 6 episodes of the series are now averaging, get this, y'all, 30.4 million viewers, including ongoing viewership past initial airings, with episode 1 alone approaching 40 million total viewers in the week since it debuted. So it's killing it, man.
It really is. And a little tease for next week, we have another guest from The Last of Us coming on the show, so stay tuned for that. Well, heading over to Paramount Pictures has entered a multi-year deal, first look deal, I should say, with Parker Finn to write, produce, and direct features. Now, the pack comes on the heels of Finn's breakout horror hit Smile, which became a sleeper box office sensation. Now, Finn also wrote and directed The Creepy Tale, which went on to top the grossing original horror movie of the 2022 year. Now, ranking in about 216 million worldwide on a $17 million budget. It is based on a short film, Laura Hasn't Slept. So all you filmmakers out there, you can start with a short film and then possibly get it into a feature. You just got to start somewhere. But this is super exciting. I also saw that this one is already greenlit for a sequel.
Yep. And that's exciting. And I'm telling you, not just start with a short film, but if you want to have your best chance at making money, do a horror film.
Oh, for sure.
Because you can shoot them for low and they always seem to do well.
Yes.
Look.
Love it.
Barry Keoghan, the Oscar-nominated actor who is right at home in a good period piece, is in talks apparently to join Paul Mescal in Ridley Scott's untitled Gladiator sequel. Now, Scott is directing the sequel to his 2000 historical epic that starred, of course, Russell Crowe as Maximus, a former general forced into becoming a gladiator under the rule of the patriarchal self-appointed Roman Emperor Commodus, which, of course, was Joaquin Phoenix. The movie won the Oscar for Best Picture, while Crowe took home the statue for Best Actor among the 5 wins for the lauded movie. Neither Crowe's nor Phoenix's character survived the proceedings, so it's obvious they won't be back in the sequel. The sequel will star After Son Oscar nominee Mescal, who is said to be playing Lucius, the son of Lucilla, who was played by Connie Nielsen, and the nephew of Phoenix's Commodus. Now, Spencer Treat Clark played the role in the original film. If a deal is made, which apparently we're learning today, it has been closed, so he will be doing it, he will play a character named Emperor Geta. Now, Geta was an actual Roman emperor, although the sequel story is not based on true events. And get this, right before we started the show today, we have just learned that the man himself, Denzel, I just found out, by the way, his name is Denzel, not Denzel. Yeah. You know why? Because his dad is Denzel. He's Denzel Jr. And his mom would say Denzel and they would both turn. So his mom started calling him Denzel to differentiate, and it stuck.
That's awesome.
Trivia. Anyway, the man Denzel Washington is in final negotiations also to join the upcoming sequel, reteaming him, of course, with Scott after 2007's American Gangster. No word yet on who Washington would be playing if the deal goes through. So that's exciting, though.
Predictions right here, right now. I don't even know if it's going to be good, but somebody's going to get nominated for an Oscar. Right, in that film. Right. Like, it just seems amazing. And that kid, Barry, he's fucking everywhere right now. I mean, Eternals, Banshees. Now this, like, kudos to him,
Batman, everywhere.
So good, so good. Well, our buddy Jason Ritter has signed on to join CBS's Matlock pilot. He joins previously announced cast members, including Kathy Bates as Madeline Matlock, Sky P. Marshall as Olympia, David Del Rio as Billy, Leah Lewis as Sarah. Now, Ritter will portray Julian, the son of the head of the firm, who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. However, he has not been underestimated. diligent and persistent with a lot to prove. He's at odds with prioritizing his family and balancing his career, as well as considers the good of the firm, trying to balance everything, even if it pushes the boundaries between his work and personal life. Now, Ritter most recently starred in Netflix's Raising Dion and Candy on Hulu. He will be seen in Howard Gordon's anthology series Accused for Fox, as well as a guest star in Yellow Jackets on Showtime. And you guys know we love Jason Ritter, had him on the show. A great freaking guy. It sounds like we're going to have him back on.
Oh, heck yeah. He's been just killing it. I mean, and then, Yellow Jackets, he's got that coming up. It's this coming week's Accused that he's going to be on. And you may or may not have known, but he was a clicker in The Last of Us with Melanie Linsky's last episode. He got to do a little cameo there.
Epic.
So he's killing it. I just want to say, it's so nice. This is now 2 of our previous guests and just 2 of the nicest people you can ever meet that are leads in a series coming up. That's fantastic. I love all the success.
For sure.
This is exciting too. Once Upon a Time alumna Rebecca Mader is set for a key recurring role on CBS's drama series Fire Country. Additionally, Kanoa Gu from The Rookie has also been cast in the series. Now, Matter will play Faye, smart, stunning, funny, and rich. Faye is the head of a private concierge firefighting company, and when she meets Manny at an AA meeting, there's a romantic spark.
Oh, shit.
Now, Faye wants to recruit him for her firm and a romantic fling. Manny, of course, likes his job with 3 Rock, but doesn't much like being alone, so Faye's at least going to have to settle for 50% of her goal. I guess that means he's going to shack up. I don't know. Gu will play Kyle, who has arrived to attend a swim clinic. He knows Gabriella well enough to tease her and appears interested in acting as Bodhi's new romantic rival.
Oh, shit.
Now, Gabriella definitely regards Kyle as a trusted friend, but he looks suspiciously like he's trying to nudge his way into her heart. We don't want that.
No, we don't want that at all, but we love Fire Country. And we have another person from Fire Country about to come on the show, too.
Yes.
Stay tuned for that one. That's a couple weeks down the line. Now, Garrett Hudlin has been cast in a recurring guest role in Taylor Sheridan's forthcoming Bass Reeves.
Yes.
Series set at Paramount Plus. He will portray Garrett Montgomery, a so-called pose man of an era whose Bass hires for his writing know-how and his expertise of the area. Now, he joins previously announced cast stars, including lead and executive producer David Aiello and series regulars Lauren E. Banks, Demi Singleton, Forrest Goodlock, and Barry Pepper. Now, Dennis Quaid and Grantham Coleman will also appear in recurring roles. Hedlund can currently be seen in Paramount Plus's Tulsa King. I wonder who did that one.
Yeah.
Oh, Taylor Sheridan. He will also star in the film The Tutor, which is scheduled for March 24th, a theatrical release. So, guys, killing it.
Yeah, and in my version of Why this week, a series adaptation of Gattaca is in development at Showtime. Exact plot details of the series are still under wraps, but sources say that Alex Ganza is attached to serve as showrunner and executive producer, with Ganza's partner Howard Gordon also executive producing. Now, they co-created the show with Craig Borton, who also executive produces. Sony Pictures Television will produce, with Ganza and Gordon currently under an overall deal at the independent studio. Sources stress that deals for the project are not yet closed. Showtime and Sony declined to comment. Now, the original Gattaca, and this is why I'm asking why, was released in 1997 and was written and directed by Andrew Niccol, with the film also serving as Niccol's directorial debut. Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman starred along with Jude Law, Alan Arkin, Lauren Dean, Ernest Borgnine, Gore Vidal, and Xander Berkeley. Now, with that cast, you think, fuck, it's got to be awesome, right? No. The film was not a commercial success upon its release, grossing just $12.5 million against a $36 million budget. $12.5 million. Now, with that cast, if it couldn't do well, why would you think a series is?
Yeah.
This is a bad idea.
That's a really bad idea, man. Oh, boy. Well, heading over to NBC Universal, following her critically acclaimed work in Normal People and Where the Crawdads Sing, Daisy Edgar Jones has found herself a first studio tentpole as she is set to star in Twisters. The new chapter to the 1996 box office hit for Ablin Entertainment and Universal Pictures. Lee Isaac Chung is on board to direct this bad boy with a script by Mark L. Smith. Now, starring Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, Twister was a massive hit back in 1996, scoring more than $494 million at the box office, thanks in no small part to the film's groundbreaking special effects.
Yes.
I hope this one has the same effect as well, because, I mean, Twister was so iconic, but I'm sad to say I feel like not a lot of people go to theatrical releases like they did back then. So I'm hoping, this will change it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too, because I'm excited for it. I've long thought
Yeah.
it should have a sequel. Unfortunately, Dusty, Philip Seymour Hoffman, probably not going to. And of course, Bill Paxton, not
Yeah.
going to be. But we'll see. We'll see if any of the originals, other than them, show up in it. It'll be interesting. Lana Condor, Toni Collette, and Jane Fonda are playing a family of sea monster queens in DreamWorks Animation's upcoming film, Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. Now, Condor voices Ruby, a shy teenager who discovers that she's part of a legendary royal lineage of mythical sea krakens and that her destiny in the depths of the oceans is bigger than she ever dreamed. Collette plays her mother, who forbade Ruby from ever stepping foot into the water, and Fonda is her grandmother, from whom Ruby is destined to inherit the throne of the Kraken Queens. Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken releases in theaters in June, at the end of June, so that sounds interesting. And Jane Fonda's killing it too.
That's what I was just
lately.
about to say. I mean, despite what you think about her as a person or her politics or anything else she does in her personal life, she is she comes from Hollywood royalty, and she's still killing it.
Yeah.
Every single year she has 2 or 3 projects that come out. So good for her, man. I love the work ethic. That's what we love to see.
For sure.
Wicked, Universal's big screen adaptation of the hit Broadway musical, is landing in theaters on November 27th of 2024. Now, this is a month ahead of schedule.
Oh.
The movie was initially scheduled to open on December 25th, but the studio felt it would be better positioned around Thanksgiving compared to Christmas. Though the release calendar will change over the next 2 years, there's currently only a Disney animation placeholder on the docket during Thanksgiving of 2024. Now, by comparison, Christmas time is stacked with Avatar 3, as well as Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and now John Chu's Wicked. Now, which is set to split in 2 parts, mind you. For the second installment is set to release a year later on December 25th of 2025. So that one is apparently going to stay there. Now, right now, apparently there aren't any more Avatar sequels planned for 2025. And that's still, 2-3 years away. So we'll see how that goes. As well as we do, they make a lot of shifts to this theatrical release calendar
all the time. So we're gonna find out. Man, this is exciting because I really enjoy this show, and I'm glad it's kind of going on. Bel Air has been renewed for season 3 at Peacock.
Yes.
The dramatic reboot, of course, of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air is currently airing its 2nd season on the streamer, with the season finale set to run on April 27th. Now, this marks actually the first renewal for the show. You're saying, wait, what? It's in season 2. But if you guys remember, it was originally picked up for 2 seasons back in 2020. So this is the first renewal of it. We're watching little Akira Akbar grow up before our eyes.
So cool.
She's like a grown-ass woman now. Like, it's so scary.
It's wild. I haven't started the 2nd season yet, but I'm super excited to. I'm trying to go one show at a time.
Right.
Now, this one, I feel like this is the necessary way, or I feel like the most, approachable way to do a revision.
Yes.
Peacock has ordered a Monk reunion film with the original series stars and creators all returning. Now, Tony Shalhoub will once again star as Adrian Monk, a counseling detective who suffers from obsessive compulsive disorder and a wide range of phobias. Other returning cast members include Ted Levine as Leland Stoudemire, Trailer Howard as Natalie Teeger, Jason Gray Stanford as Rander Disher, Randy Disher and Maria Hardin as Troby Monk, and of course Hector Elizondo as Dr. Nevin Bell.
Yes.
Officially titled The Monk's Last Case, a Monk movie, the film sees Monk return to solve one last and very personal case involving his beloved stepdaughter, Molly, a journalist preparing for her wedding. Ooh, very good. This was a hit. I feel like it's a cult classic. So I think this is the proper way to revisit characters that they know and love. So I'm excited for it.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited too. You know, Trailer Howard, I used to way back in the day, she starred on Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza Parlor with Ryan Reynolds before they changed it to just Two Guys and a Girl. And then, of course, Monk and everything. But way back in the day when they first announced that they were considering doing a live action Harley Quinn, she was my pick. I think she would have been brilliant. I still think she could pull off the character pretty well. But yeah, she was just in her heyday. She would have been perfect as Harley Quinn.
For sure.
Just saying, better than Lady Gaga.
For
Peacock.
sure.
This one sounds really interesting. I'm super pumped for this one. Peacock has set the cast for their adaptation of The Tattooist of Auschwitz. Now, Jonah Howard King, The Little Mermaid, and Anna Prokin from Baptiste are set as the leads of the drama series, with Yellow Jacket star Melanie Linsky also killing it. She's everywhere. The series tells the true life story of Lele Sokolov, a Jewish prisoner who was given the job of tattooing identification numbers on fellow prisoners' arms in the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp during World War II. One day he meets Gita when tattooing her prisoner number on her arm. They experience love at first sight, and so begins a courageous, unforgettable, and human story told through one man's memory and experience of Auschwitz-Birkenau. It's a tale of the very best of humanity in the very worst of circumstances. Tali Shalman Azar is attached to direct all 6 episodes. The series is currently in production and will air in 2024. That is a really original idea based on like a story that probably nobody has heard of, but that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, talk about original idea. I love to see that. That's what we love. That's what we love to report on for ITCAF podcast. Not these reboots, not these revisions. Oh, I'm so happy to see that.
You know, you hear all the time about the numbers, right?
Yeah.
The tattoos during World War II, all these. Did you ever once think about who did those? Was it soldiers or was it a prisoner forced to do it on other prisoners?
Exactly.
I'm so glad to see this, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, heading over to Sony, Vanessa Hudgens is set to reprise her role as weapons expert Kelly in Bad Boys 4.
There you go.
With Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Now, Smith and Lawrence revealed earlier this year that they are reteaming for a 4th Bad Boys movie, which is in pre-production at the moment at Sony Pictures, with Bad Boys Life directors Aldi Arbari and Bali Faha returning to the helm from the script of Chris Bremner. Now, plot details are being kept under wraps, but we hear the film will start filming within the next few months. So that's exciting. I mean, the 3rd one went over pretty well, and it was really entertaining. So I'm excited to see what they do with the 4th one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good, and good for them for getting a job. Those names sound familiar, guys. That's the Batgirl directors that got their shit canned. So I'm glad to see them rebounding nicely. Lionsgate. Let's jump over to Lionsgate. We don't normally have a lot with Lionsgate, but here we go. They announced that its Kingdom Story Company drama, Ordinary Angels, starring 2-time Oscar winner Hilary Swank, who's, of course, on Alaska Daily right now, and Alan Richardson from Reacher, will open wide on October 13th. The film is now set to debut against the continuation of horror classic The Exorcist from Universal. Now, based on the remarkable true story and directed by John Gunn, The Unbreakable Boy, Ordinary Angels centers on Sharon Steves, a fierce but struggling hairdresser in a small town Kentucky who discovers a renewed sense of purpose when she meets Ed Schmidt, a widower working hard to make ends meet for his 2 daughters. With his youngest daughter waiting for a liver transplant, Sharon sets her mind to helping the family and will move mountains to do it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
We'll
Hilary
see.
Swank. I mean, you know.
Yeah, come on now. Now heading over to Amazon MGM, Game of Thrones alumni Jeremy Padusa has signed on to direct the pilot of Amazon Prime's upcoming limited release Blade Runner 2099.
Oh.
Now, Jeremy, most recently the DGA Awards nominated director behind HBO Max's Station 11, will also serve as producing director and executive producer of Blade Runner 2099. A TV sequel to the film Blade Runner 2049. Itself a sequel landmark from the original Blade Runner. The new series comes from showrunner executive producer Silka Louisa from Shining Girls. Now, Ridley Scott is also executive producing this thing, which comes from Alkin Entertainment and Scott Free Productions. Also joining the writer's room is Tom Spizzelli from The Leftovers, who originally served as an executive producer. The series is in the works it was in the works in November of 2021. While Amazon revealed it is in development in February of 2022, the series was officially ordered last September. Now, plot details of the new Prime Video series remains under wraps. But you see, guys, things go so back and forth every once in a while. You just got to keep going. As long as the wheels are turning, that's all that matters.
That's right. Sometimes it takes years to get your shit made. That's just how it goes. Oscar Isaac, you know him, you love him, is in discussions to lead Helltown. The series is currently in development at Amazon. Now, according to the log line, the hour-long 8-episode crime thriller follows the life of Kurt Vonnegut before he became known to the world as a renowned author. In 1969, Kurt was a struggling novelist and car salesman living life with his wife and 5 children on Cape Cod. When 2 women disappear and are later discovered murdered underneath the sand dunes on the outskirts of Provincetown, Kurt becomes obsessed and embroiled in the chilling hunt for a serial killer and forms a dangerous bond with the prime suspect. Now, Robert Downey Jr., Susan Downey will executive produce through their Team Downey banner alongside and Amanda Burrell. Oscar Isaac and Gina Konstantamas serve as executive producers for Mad Gene. So there you go.
There you go, man. Well, heading over to Netflix, just days after winning the Oscar for Best Animated Feature for his dark take on Pinocchio, Guillermo del Toro is ready to look for the cast of his next film. We are hearing that Andrew Garfield, Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth is in early talks to star in his Netflix live-action Frankenstein movie, which Del Toro will write and direct. Now, Del Toro has been developing the project based on the English author Mary Shelley's 1818 novel for several years now, but it's unclear how faithful he intends to interpret the source material. Now, Frankenstein is a part of the filmmaker's multi-year deal with Netflix, while Del Toro has a number of projects in various stages of development. You guys know the line. Conversations about Frankenstein are in the very early stages, but I feel like if anybody is able to do this, he is.
Oh, yeah. And with that cast, I'm all in. Like, that sounds amazing.
Exactly.
You know what's not all in? Netflix on Nancy Meyer's comeback. Apparently not. Netflix has pulled the plug on Nancy Meyer's next movie, a star-studded romantic comedy that would have marked the director's first film in years. Over budget concerns. Sources with knowledge of the project and the filmmaker say they are looking into other options to make the movie. Now, prior to the film, reportedly titled Paris Paramount, being shelved, Scarlett Johansson, Penelope Cruz, Owen Wilson, and Michael Fassbender were being courted for the lead roles. Now, pending talent availability, the project will be shopped to prospective buyers as a package, and we're hearing that Warner Brothers is apparently in early talks to acquire the project. Sources stress that no deal is done and that the talks are exploratory, but they add there is something to it, and discussions have begun on various details. Netflix also declined to comment. This was an expensive one. She wanted a $150 million budget. Netflix said they'd go 130, which is what they did, and they started the process, and now they backed out because apparently it looked like she was going to go over that 130 and try to get to her 150. So of course it only makes sense that the studio that's slashing everything to try to save money is going to try to buy it, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Goodness gracious, that sounds like a lot. Netflix released the trailer for its highly anticipated dark comedy series Beef, which stars Stephen Yoon and Ali Wong. Alongside the first look footage, the streamer also unveiled a debut date of April 6th.
Oh.
Now, the show it will comprise of 10 episodes with a runtime of roughly 30 minutes each. The series follows the aftermath after two strangers get into a road rage incident and causing a big reaction. Now, failing contractor Danny Chow, who's played by Steven, butts heads with picture perfect entrepreneur who's Amy Lau, who's played by Wong. Following the entanglement, as their feud continues, it begins to impact their own lives and relationships. That's good though, because I mean, I feel like we need more good half-hour comedies. We don't have a lot right now.
Yeah, and it's dark. So and who hasn't been in a good road rage argument, right?
Come on.
Netflix set the spring premiere date for The Diplomat, a political thriller drama series starring Kerry Russell. The 8-episode, 1-hour series will launch April 20th on the streamer. Now, created by Deborah Chan from Homeland and The West Wing, The Diplomat is a high-stakes contemporary political drama about the transcendence and torture of long-term relationships between countries and people. It centers on Kate Weiler, played, of course, by Kerry, the new U.S. ambassador to the United Kingdom. She was supposed to go to Afghanistan. She's great in Crisis Zone. In a historic home, less so. War is brewing on the continent and boiling over on another. Kate will have to diffuse international crises, forge strategic alliances in London, and adjust to her new place in the spotlight, all while trying to survive her marriage to fellow career diplomat and political star Hale Weiler.
Interesting.
Is it going to come out that she's actually a Russian?
Maybe.
No,
I feel like
if you
that's where
know
it's
her,
going.
you love her from The Americans, man. I'm just glad to see her back in a role. It's going to be good.
For sure, man. For sure. Well, John Mulaney's newest stand-up special titled John Mulaney Baby J will premiere April 25th on Netflix. It marks Mulaney's third Netflix comedy special following 2015's The Comeback Kid and 2018 Kid Gorgeous. One of his earlier comedy hours in 2012's New in Town is also available on Netflix. And Bert Kreischer's new hour is also available on Netflix right now. It's called Razzle Dazzle. It's fucking hilarious. Be sure to check it out.
Have you seen Mulaney's in Olivia Munn's Baby? Just adorable, man. Yep. Just freaking adorable. I'm happy for them. Let's jump over to Apple to end this industry news segment. Matthew McConaughey, all right, and Woody Harrelson are apparently reuniting on screen once again, this time for a new Apple TV Plus comedy from creator David West Reed. And this time, McConaughey and Harrelson are actually playing versions of themselves. In Reed's untitled 10-episode half-hour comedy, McConaughey and Harrelson, along with their families, attempt to live together on McConaughey's Texas ranch. And of course, the close confines puts the storied friendship to the test. Now, the logline says Apple TV Plus calls the new show a heartfelt odd couple love story revolving around the strange and beautiful bond between Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. The two of them living together on McConaughey's ranch is going to be fucking hysterical.
Oh, for sure.
I'm just saying.
That's really exciting. Well, what's also really exciting is our guest segment. Oh my goodness. Billy Bob Thornton is back to being a fucking badass.
Woo!
Okay. Griff Furst is coming on the show to talk about his new film, Devil's Peak, that he produced with Billy Bob Thornton, Robin White, and a couple of others in there. Man, oh man, I'm really freaking pumped for everybody to hear this one.
Oh, me too, man. He dives deep into the movie and what Billy Bob's actually like on set. He also gives us a lot of insight as to what it was like growing up with a famous parent and being on set all the time.
Yeah.
Did that help him or not? You're going to find out in this interview, and so much more, man. This is a really good one for the up-and-comers.
It is, man. It is. Well, here he is. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, oh my goodness, that video in our interview is available right now on all podcast platforms and YouTube. So be sure to check it out after the rest of the show. All right, now it is time for the top 5 segment. Oh my goodness. This one is very interesting because this week it's comic book characters and/or cartoon characters that we would love to see in a live action movie.
Yes. This was a fun one. And yeah, we had a couple of our number one was an obvious choice.
I mean, we've been talking about this for like 3 years, I feel like, trying to get this to happen. But number 5 for me goes to Samurai Jack If you guys remember Samurai Jack, Cartoon Network, oh my goodness. This was one of the darker shows that came onto the scene when I was a kid. And I mean, it just follows an adventure of a samurai trying to just make his way through life and through the countryside and try not to fuck people up, but people end up fucking with him. So he has to fuck people up. So, I mean, it's just a great story. I feel like, we need to see more representation of the samurai ninja culture and Japanese and Chinese. So I feel like that would be a really good one to see because it's a very hit classic. And I feel like a lot of people are watching it right now on HBO Max with the Cartoon Network stuff. So I'd be excited to see that one, to be honest. So.
For sure. And my list also has stuff from my childhood that I would love to see that hasn't been done yet. My number 5 is the Space Age family. We've seen the Flintstones live action. The first one was really good. They should have stopped after the first one. I'm just going to say it. And we've seen Scooby-Doo. The first one was really great. Second one, so we're learning lessons. Only do one.
Yes.
But I would love to see the Jetsons. Right? I mean, I think that would be fantastic. It would very much follow along the lines of Scooby-Doo, right? They'd have the dog and they'd have all the, but I think it would be fucking hilarious.
It would be.
I think it would be a great live action adaptation, a great comedy in the veins of, and yeah, I would love to see it. I just,
well, and I mean, especially with how CGI is right now. I mean, it'd be so easy.
Oh, without doubt. Now I'm already casting in my head. I could see like a bunch of people playing the Jetsons. Come on.
For sure. I feel like the dad could easily be John Krasinski.
Oh,
I mean,
without doubt.
And I mean, the mom possibly. I don't want to. Maybe Elizabeth Olsen or like Amy Adams or somebody like that.
Oh, Elizabeth Olsen would be great.
Yeah.
And Mr. Cog, of course, Danny DeVito. He's the perfect Mr. Cog. Remember, he's a short little guy with a mustache. I mean, oh my God, Danny DeVito would slay in that. I'm
for
just saying.
sure. Well, contact us. We got you.
We got you.
We got it. We got it. Number 4 for me goes to Kids Next Door, codename Kids Next Door, because I mean, everybody loved like Spy Kids, and I feel like this is kind of in the same vein, but not with like an actual spy agency. This is just kids like living their best life, trying to fight off adults and adulthood. In which, I mean, come on, now that we're adults, we understand. We would much rather be children. But I just feel like this would also be a really fun movie for like, the kids who grew up in this day and age, and for the newcomers who haven't, didn't know anything about Codename Kids Next Door. I think it would be a whole lot of fun, and I feel like we need more representation of the younger generation of actors, especially the kids who are really young trying to get into it, or the preteens and that stuff. So I would love to see that, not in a Disney Channel type of forum. So I would love to see that. Yes, number 4 for me is Codename Kids Next Door.
Yes. Well, number 4 for me isn't obvious. They've been talking about doing this for years, and yet it still hasn't happened. But come on now, if you were around in the late 80s, mid 90s, then you know that this one needs to be done. I'm talking about Thundercats. Oh, who doesn't want to see the fucking Thundercats live action? Again, with the CGI, it would be so fucking easy to do. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
This is a badass team that was kicking ass, right? Well, a Pantera and Lion-O and just like I mean, it would be fucking badass. They've apparently attempted to get a live action version off the ground several times with no success. It's time.
Yeah.
Somebody pick it up. Let's get it fucking done. That's all I'm saying.
It would be great. It'd be great. Number 3 for me, I mean, it's kind of like Charlie's Angels, but I mean, it's not. Totally Spies. This was my guilty pleasure show that I never told any other guy friends about because it was centered on 3 female protagonists, and I feel like back in the day by other boys you'd get made fun of for that shit because it was a girl show. But it was actually really fun, and just to be able to have that type of dynamic, it would be like a new Charlie's Angels type of thing, but not Charlie's Angels, because you should probably stay away from that. We saw how Elizabeth Banks' film went. But anyway, I just feel like that would be pretty good and pretty fun, and another representation of young women breaking into it because they're just like high schoolers. So I think that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. My number 3 has long been one of my favorite superheroes of all times. And I think, it's been done comedic so often, but I would like to see a serious movie, even though I don't know how you do serious with the cohort here, but I'm just going to say it. Blue Falcon and Dynamite. I love them.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. I always loved when they were on Saturday morning cartoons, and I just think it's like, think Batman and Robin, but Batman with a dog, and Batman is a bird, a falcon instead of a bat, and like, the dog is like, it's just a dog. I
Yeah.
mean, but he can do crazy kind of things, and just like, it was one of my favorite cartoons growing up as a kid. I've always thought it would make an awesome live action. I would love to see fucking Blue Falcon in live action.
Right.
I think he would be badass. We got another taste of them in Scoob a couple years ago, right? And I think it went over really well. People like those characters.
Yeah.
So to see them in live action would be badass.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, you've done Birdman, so I feel like if that was successful, then that would be successful. Yeah,
for sure.
It would just make complete sense. Number 2 for me, everybody knows I absolutely love anime, or at least specific anime shows and animation in general. So I think this one is a huge fan favorite, and everybody would love it, but they would have to do it right, because you wouldn't want it to be like a Dragon Ball Z bullshit type of situation. And I'm talking about Naruto Uzumaki. It really, all my shows are really going back to like the childhood day and age, and bringing new child actors into the forum, because like I said before, we don't have a lot of like big child actors. I mean, look at Jacob Tremblay. He's fucking huge now, and he's like, he's still a teenager, but he's like 6 feet tall. So it's really weird. But to bring like that child forum, I feel like that would be very inspirational for kids growing up, and give them someone to look up to who's not an adult. So I think that would be really cool. But this is such a good story about an orphan who is an outcast and wants to make friends, and is still an outcast, but still tries to prove themselves and become like Hokage, which is basically like, the president, or the mayor of the village and shit like that. So I feel like it'd be a very inspirational story that you would have to do right, though. So yeah, number 2 for me is Naruto Uzumaki.
Well, there you go. My number 2, also a classic anime cartoon way back in the day when I was a wee kid. I'm talking about Battle of the Planets, also known as G-Force. Holy shit. This was an awesome team of 5 people, right? They're a superhero team. They're also in bird outfits. Each of them has a different bird guys, but you had Mark, Jason, Keop, Tiny, and it was just, and Princess, and it was amazing. They fought against Zoltar, just a maniacal guy trying to destroy the universe, and these guys fought to save the universe. Battle of the Planets. It was always epic. They would do this. They all had t-shirts on, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? And then they would transform into these costumes or whatever. They flew this badass fucking machine, this plane called the Phoenix. And then whenever they were kind of going, and it would transform into the fiery Phoenix, and it would turn into a firebird of like, it was so fucking badass. And all the effects, anime, it was like, and they would do all this like fucking, they were badass. I don't think any of them had actual powers. They were all like kind of like Batman type, with gadgets and stuff, but they were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to see this thing. Oh my gosh. For years and years and years, it was just my favorite fucking guy. I might draw these guys. I've been leaning towards wanting to draw these guys, so maybe I will. But check it out. If you've never heard of it and you are a fan of anime, check this one out. Battle of the Planets, G-Force. Yeah, just check it out. I'm telling you, you're going to love it.
Oh, for sure, man. For sure. And of course, number 1, we teased it at the very beginning, and we've been talking about it, like I said, for so many years now. We want it to come to fruition. And that is Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond.
Yes.
Just feel like it would be so badass, man. I mean, we need a passing of the torch from Bruce Wayne. If we've gotten so many Bruce Waynes, some good, some trash. I mean, we don't need nipples, okay? We don't need nipples on the Batman. So we just I think it's time to step away from Bruce Wayne.
I think so too, or at least in a limited role, right?
Yeah.
That's the tragic part, because prior to this whole let's get rid of everything and start over thing, apparently it was in the works for a Batman Beyond live action with Keaton being the old Batman and passing the torch on and becoming the mentor to the new Batman. How fucking epic would have that been? I think that James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to have to relook at that, because I think they're going to see the massive success of Keaton returning as Batman.
Yeah.
They're going to have to find a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
And what better way than a Batman Beyond franchise where he's the old Batman, right? I just think there's, from what I understand, I saw a report, they're selling the shit out of Keaton Batman merchandise right now.
Makes sense.
It's popular. And if you're going to do it, I get it, right? You want to cast a new young Batman. But I'm just saying, if you want to bank on the success and you want to make all kinds of different age generations happy, fucking Batman Beyond. You get the young, you get the old, you get the classic, you get the new. It's a no-brainer to me. I mean,
exactly. And I mean, everybody loves the futuristic shit, and Batman Beyond is set in the future.
Yeah.
You know, there's different types of electronics and technology that you can explore with that. I just feel like it's so necessary. Now, the casting would be very, very critical. But Funko also released new Batman ones from the Flash movie, like old Batman. They look badass.
I know. Keaton, man, I'm telling you, Keaton is the way to go. You know, back in the day when I was first thinking about a Batman Beyond live action, you know who I saw as the old Bruce Wayne? Clint fucking Eastwood. Yeah. How badass. He's already got the voice. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, before he started looking like he does now, because now he looks like he should be in The Walking Dead. Yeah. No offense, Clint. I'm just saying. But yeah, he would have been so badass like 20, 25 years ago.
Because, I mean, what was that war movie where he was like jacked?
Yeah. Heartbreak Ridge. Yeah. Yeah. Just, oh my God. He would have been fucking brilliant. Yeah,
so good, man. So good. Well, guys, let us know your comic book characters or cartoon characters that you would love to see in live action. Please let us know, comment below, or be sure to add us on Twitter at JLoganAustin and at CrazyAntCEO.
Yes.
We love it. We love it. Now, heading over to box office recap. Scream, we were having this little conversation back and forth. Could Creed keep reign over Scream? No. Scream knocked them out, slashed it away. All the other puns. Scream 6 came in at number 1 with $44.5 million. It's good to see films getting up to this level again, right? Creed 3 came in at number 2 with $27.2 million, which is not bad for a second weekend. I'm just saying, that's pretty freaking good. Number 3 was 65 with $12.3 million. That's that Adam Driver dinosaur movie, which apparently only cost about $45 million to make, which is kind of scary because like dinosaurs and $45 million. I'm kind of scared about that one. Number 4 was Ant-Man and the Wasp with $7 million, still rock and roll with that one, and Cocaine Bear with $6.2 million. So they're the top 5. And the new movie's coming out this week. Like we said, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, worldwide or domestic wide. And then in your local cinemas, maybe somewhere near you, you got like Unwelcome, The Lake, Full Time, Inside, things like that. But movies you can still go see right now are Jesus Revelations, Champions, which I do want to see. That's that Woody Harrelson movie.
Yeah.
And Avatar: Way of Water, obviously, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and then Operation Fortune, Rouge d'Avray, whatever. Whatever that is. So be sure to go out to your local cinemas this weekend. Try not to get too drunk with your St. Patty's Day affairs. It's always a good time, man. It's always a good time. Well, IMDbPro's top trending segment, of course, Scream 6 is number 1. Everybody's been talking about it. And I mean, continuing moving forward. Hopefully, the one and only Patrick Dempsey comes back. We hope.
Right? Yeah, that was the plan. And then I guess they changed their mind at the last second when Nev didn't come back.
Yeah,
so.
It's like, you know. Top trending TV show, of course, is The Last of Us, with the top trending star being Pedro Pascal.
Yes.
Man, I mean, CAA is doing this dude right. He wants to work, and CAA, there's his talent agency, for those who don't know. This is why you need to sign up for IMDb Pro to see who's represented by who.
Facts.
They are getting him a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, you think about that Nicolas Cage movie, Wonder Woman 84, like Last of Us, Mandalorian. Like, these are all huge blockbuster, either television shows or movies. Fucking killing it.
Yeah. Speaking of killing it, Jenna Ortega.
Yeah,
Another one
her
that's
too.
literally just everywhere. And it just popped into my head. When casting the Jetsons, Jenna Ortega would be awesome as a Judy Jetson.
Oh, for sure.
Like, oh my gosh, she'd be fantastic. Like,
so good, man.
that's his daughter's name, right? Judy? I think so.
I think
Judy
so.
Jetson.
I don't
Yeah.
know. More your generation than mine, my friend. Oh,
She'd be epic, though.
for sure, for sure. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching the show, listening to the show, all the good stuff. We freaking appreciate you. We got to thank Griff Furst one more time for coming on the show and getting crazy and telling us all about his film Devil's Peak. Be sure to stream that now, VOD, video on demand. It is on Apple TV Plus. I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon and all the other places you can find and or rent movies. Be sure to check that out and follow him. And be sure to follow the company on social media and the podcast at Crazy Ant Media and at ITCAF Podcast. And you guys know you can follow us both personally on social media. Myself at J Logan Austin on all social media platforms, and
me at Crazy Ant CEO on all social media platforms.
Yes, we love it, man. We love it. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. We're on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more. If you're watching this video on YouTube, we appreciate you. Be sure to hit that like button below on the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest and greatest notifications coming out of Crazy Ant Media. And we also have a mental health podcast too, Everything's Okay, where we talk about our mental health struggles that we have encountered throughout our lives, and we bring guests on from all different walks of life who come on the show as well and talk about what they have been through. So it's all about, letting people know that they are not alone in this world. There are other experiences that are like yours. They might not exactly be yours, but they're exactly like yours. So, I mean, it's all about helping people one person at a time. Also, be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking all the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. 20% off merch sale right now. Be sure to get that. It's through the end of the weekend. So, man, oh, man, check that out while supplies last.
Yes, do it. Do it now.
Do it. Oh, my goodness. But I mean, just another great show. I felt like it's great to come back and talk about all the things. And hopefully we can figure out a way to get that Oscar video back up, because it was a whole lot of fun. We had a lot of good commentary and a lot of good comments. I mean, so much interaction. And we can't thank you guys enough for all of that. And I mean, it was just such a good podcast episode, because it's good to be back and talk about the things we know and love, and that's what it's all about.
Heck yeah, man. I always love deep diving into the industry news and keeping everybody up to date with what's going on and finding out ourselves what's going on sometimes. It's always fun. We should mention just a little tidbits that we didn't throw in there, but in case you didn't hear, Ben Affleck says no to James Gunn and Peter Safran, will not direct any movies in the new DC universe. So there's that out there. And you know what? She's letting me down, man. Please don't let me down. Please don't let me down. All Rise might not be coming back to OWN. Might not be getting another season. Why would you do that? Please don't let me down. You know who I'm talking about. Oprah!